Okay, you're like, I had to reuse the other thumbnail. I cropped it so it won't look exactly the same because I don't know why it won't let me do the thumbnail at the beginning anymore. Anyway, okay, so sooner than expected, I'm doing this video already. But I said next week, and it's next week. So this was the Dan Post Milwaukee minion leather uppers. I don't know what that means. There's two pairs listed in the same heading, and the other one says distressed. So I don't know why they would list them both together when they're two different things. But one's black and one's brown, and I got the black ones. And so with the black ones, you kind of get usually a cheaper, more painted look. And then the brown ones, they're trying to make them look more rugged, but I already have a whole bunch of brown boots, so I was buying black ones on purpose. But of course, I had a coupon that then they said they wouldn't honor with this brand, so I ended up having to pay full price. Anyway, yeah, something went on there. So I had bought the Dan Post boots last summer. And if I go to the playlist, I'll try and find it real quick here. The episode was 232, and right after that I had done the Justin Boots 233. Now those Dan Post boots were less of a traditional construction than these, and I did other boots. I did a Western overview that was a recap of some of my other ones that I had done videos of before episode 231. So one of the videos, I had done the Laredo boots, Laredo, and this just says men's black. So I don't know exactly what the model name is, but I was going to compare these with those, and so you can kind of see what these still fit, but they're a bit pinch in the toe. They're very narrow and very pointy, and they were the only ones I could find that were in my size at the time that had leather outsoles that I could take on a dance floor instead of just asphalt or whatever. Although they did get some asphalt and some scuffing and whatnot, and I wore them a decent amount, but this I'm pretty sure is nylon, not leather. Okay. So that's what we had in the past. And then I had those Ariat trucker ones that I didn't bring in that had the rubber outsole instead of the leather, and they were not meant for dancing and that kind of thing at all. They were definitely made as work boots. So this different thumbnail, if I want to update it, but similar box. So since I had bought the Dan Post boots last summer and the size was too small, and they had rubber outsoles, and they might have had a similar toe to this. I don't remember. I'd have to actually go back and watch my own video. I mean, I literally owned them for like 12 hours before I sent them away. But so I went up half a size. I didn't go wide, and I'm kind of on the fence because I think these are the right size without going wide, but I'm worried that I won't be able to get them off without a spotter once my feet swell in them. But I'm pretty sure the wide would be too wide and maybe even too long, because these, being the different toe, slightly different toe or whatever than the other ones, and I'm pretty sure this is the correct size, and I'm hoping for the best. Because again, I didn't get them on a discount, and I don't want to have to go through the trouble of returning them. But okay, so there's the box, so you can see the box. And then the lid, we have this soft strike comfort system with fast rebounding closed cell PU insert, polyurethane. Dan Post Boot Company, a division of whoever, I can't read, that's tiny. Soft strike comfort system Fast rebounding closed cell PU insert. Yeah, what they said up here, they're saying again here. Removable and washable, antifungal and antimicrobial properties. Again, I was trying to find USA companies that make more traditional boots. These, I don't know if they're even made in USA, though. I don't know if Dan Post has different models that are made in different places. I'll try and find that, but it's not here. Moisture wicking, high-tech nylon dry knit insole cover, cooling air channels, rebounding closed cell PU pillows at forepart and heel to prevent foot fatigue, perforated for aided airflow, cushioning EVA layer. I'm not sure what that stands for. I don't know. Hinged insole for flexibility, shank stabilizer for extra support. So that's your layers. I don't know what an EVA. Somebody will jog my memory. I know I've heard the term, but I can't picture the words right now in my mind. Ventilation, something, I don't know, who knows. So yeah, there's a little bit of tissue paper, and then the boots are in plastic bags. So not a lot of mystery there. And I don't think that these are going to be nylon tops, but your guess is as good as mine what they actually look like and all that. So there's not a lot of color in the stitching, but there is contrast with the gray. There is writing on the inside. Read it. Kind of harsh at this angle, and the light doesn't want to go out right. Designed, oh no, leather upper, leather sole, made. Does that say made? I can't tell. I'm really struggling to read because it's so far down in the shaft. Not printed where I would can get to it around. Mexico. So these are not made in USA. These are made in Mexico. Sorry. This is the worst. I realize this is the horrible video, but I have to turn this upside down to see the light in the thing. Yeah, there's more writing, but I don't know if I can read any of it. It's way down in the shaft. Size, style. There's a bunch of numbers, but I'm not going to be able to read those here. But anyway, so if you can see way down in the shaft, if I can get the light in there. The writing is like, it's down the back and tiny. So I can read some of it, but the light with the boot makes too much shadow without me like literally holding it over the light and sticking my face inside the boot. Anyway, so made in Mexico. So these are not USA made, even for the extra price tag that I did. So it does have the pole tabs. It does claim to be, you know, pretty much all leather. It does have the wooden pegs. It does have a walking heel of different than the other boot, but probably the same type of rubber, right? I recall the other boot having some different kind of heel cap, memory serves. And like I said, they look kind of long and skinny. If you have wider feet, you know, you're going to want the wider edition. They don't offer any other wider widths than whatever is listed here, E or double E. It claims double E. So like I said, I was kind of nervous that double E would be too wide for me. And I think, you know, once I get some thicker socks and wear them for a little while. They'll stretch in it. Like I said, just getting them off will be a bit of a challenge. So I'll have to try and wear these on the street a little bit and scuff them up more than I kind of really want to, you know, get them to conform and make sure I can get them back off. So inside of it, there's just a bit of paper that wasn't the cardboard. And it doesn't want to come out. So just that. So yeah, so pretty standard. The insole they were talking about is this. Kind of a pointy toe, a little bit creased. And then you can see the nails in the footbed. And what's actually under here in here, it feels foamy, kind of squishy. It does have, oh, okay. It has like bumps. I always worry about stuff like that because usually to me that means blisters that go into my feet right through something like this. But we'll see how it goes. Last year I got really bad blisters wearing those Dr. Scholl's slip-on shoes, and I had several pairs of those with no issue, and then that pair was murder, and I was walking around for a couple hours at the beach, but nothing silly like, you know, hiking Mount Baldy or whatever. You know, it was just walking around at the beach, and I had the worst blisters that night. The next morning I could barely walk to take my photos, but I did post all those photos in my community menu a long time ago and other photos. And I don't usually do a lot of showing my wear, you know, how they look on feet and stuff, because this camera doesn't really do that. And my editing program does not cooperate with YouTube anymore. For some reason, I just can't make the videos in advance and then post them like I was a year and a half ago or whatever. I just do them all live stream now. So if you're seeing this, great, because I don't know how many viewers I lost when I switched to the live stream format, but maybe some. But most of you want to come back for boots. Here's boots. And I will have another boot video this week. You know, all things going according to plan, because we will have the 8 boots in 8 weeks challenge update. So I'm still persisting on that. And last week's boots for devotees was the Grant Stone, the 2 different pairs of Ariats, although the Rambler I only wore to wear like do a little bit of chores the one day. But then I wore the other rugged, rough out, or whatever, roughneck ones or whatever they're called, for some real walks. You can get a little more use in those. And then, of course, I did slide in the Oliver Cabells again briefly to round out the thing. And so this one has all the little stickers and stuff on it. So obviously you can see this as Dan Post boots on both sides. And this says Dan Post, and I'm pretty sure it's the same stuff that we just read, if anything. In the top of the box, features. Yeah, it's all the same stuff I read from the top of the box, points 1 through 8 or whatever. And then on the back, there's a little bit of warning. This product can expose you to chemicals, including lead and blah, blah, blah. And so you might get boot cancer if you live in California. I don't know if you have to worry about boot cancer if you're in Texas or Nashville or whatever. Maybe. Known in the state of California, again, that we're unique here, that we get cancer from stuff that nobody else gets cancer from, maybe. Don't know. And then danpostboots.com if you want to look that up instead of just listening to me. Or if you're going to buy them, you probably did that already anyway. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, this is your basic, I'm old-fashioned or whatever, so I like this toe shape more than the square toes and the snip toes and of course, again, I wanted this for the primary function of using them for night out on the town kind of boots more than you know, turf kickers and that kind of thing. But, you know, like I said, I'll have to wear them a little bit and see how they do. And especially I'll have to try these on again so I can show you next to side by side. But this one, of course, is the toe ram too, which I also felt kind of silly wearing it more casually because I felt like I had to kind of dress it up more than just be able to wear it. Whereas if I really want to, this is just a black boot, but the size and shape, you can see here, should be, well, I should have grabbed the other thing. Should be fairly comparable. Hopefully they won't smash my feet too bad. But you can see these kind of come wide and then point, but it's still narrow for your toes, no matter how you slice it. This one's still going to be a little narrow for the toes, but overall it looks like I said, going to a double E I think would be a little too wide in this case. And I guess I could always you know, suck it up and wear these for a while and then try and find them again in the wider width later if I really feel like they're too small, but I don't think so. Like I said, I think it'll just be if I can get them off at the end of a walk or an evening. Well, and of course, you have the toe bug, which again is more up here for your flex, not literally down on your toe. The Pacific Northwest companies don't seem to understand where to put that or what it's actually for. So I did have that problem, and I don't know what quality kind of I mean, if you're like I said, if you're looking for a real work boot, this is probably okay, especially if you're using in the saddle and you want the smooth instead of the more grippy outsole. You know, but it's, you know, but if you're working in them, you know, it's still not going to be a super thick leather. You know, how tough is this kind of, you know, going to be? But it's a standard shaft height. Doesn't, you know, it's not too short. Like I don't really care for the roper boot look. Although I do have the roper boots that, again, I throw them on if I'm driving in the car or something where I don't need the heel, and walking in the heel when you don't need the heel can be, you know, kind of annoying or whatever. But yeah, you know, but, you know, if you just want a generic black boot in a more, you know, traditional conservative kind of shape or whatever, they're, you know, they're probably fine for that. Can you find some less expensive ones? Maybe, but will they be leather? Probably not. Again, I would say, will they be in the USA? Well, these aren't. So, you know, how much more do you have to spend? I think the other Dan Post boots that I returned were closer to the 400 mark. Again, you can check that episode 232 if you want the details. That was a 22-minute video, so it wasn't like super long. This one's going to be almost the same length and maybe not as detailed. But I don't know what else to tell you if you don't know what cowboy boots are. I usually call them Western riding boots. Again, I don't know if they have, so yeah, they have the same writing in both boots, and it's way far down there. I'd have to get a magnifying glass and stand way back. It's just a lot of numbers, though. 6'5", something. I think that's the number that's on the box. Yeah, I don't know. I can't read. Okay, so I guess I'll sign off then now. Sorry, this was kind of a slapdash video trying to trying to get you that information that I still can't really get you. Maybe it's on the website because, like I said, I got this out of the catalog and I was just like, oh, okay, they have boots in my size that might work. So that's, like I said, and I had a coupon. The whole reason I called was to get the, what is it, 25% off? Yeah, 25% off. I thought that was a good deal, and I didn't even get that. So I don't know how much I'm going to shop from this catalog anymore. As always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. If you have weird requests, like do a review of Ummagum boot. What did this guy say? Untain boots. Never heard of them. So I'm doing a review of these instead, or an unboxing of these, I should say. It's not really a review as much as initial impressions. I haven't walked around in them yet and all that. Signing off.